This is just a quick little rundown of the past 6 vans that I have built out, starting from the very first van that I began with, all the way up into the current vans that I own now, which are actually box trucks. And yeah, you can call me Sean Van Ninja. Obviously, my name's Sean. I live in a van, and I am actually a real ninja, believe it or not. I have a 4th degree in Kempo, a 4th degree in Taekwondo, a black belt in a sword fighting art. I owned a dojo, and I was on Japanese television as a ninja. So yeah, I am the Sean Van Ninja, and all my vans are in what we call ninja stealth mode, so we can park anywhere and do our business and then move on, which is exactly what a ninja does. And so that's how they kind of came up with the idea of ninja. My first van was a 2002 Ford Econoline. This thing was a total piece of junk. Like, you can see that it was bad. It had, like, the floor was really tore up. In other words, there really was no floor pretty much there. And once I picked up the wood, because there was like wood cover and all that, it was insane. I had to clean out all this stuff out of there because they had mulch in there. Once I got it out, I really realized how much damage was done on the bottom of this truck. And then the whole inside of the cab was all full of mulch and dirt, and it was a total dump. But it was a good start. I had to do a whole bunch of cutting and putting in new floor from another van that I went to the junkyard and cut out pieces, and had a friend help me cut some pieces out, and we welded that in there so we can actually get the floor. You can see these big huge holes in there, so we can get the floor to be a floor again. And once we done that, then that's when I actually started my first build, which I laid the floor down with the wood and the insulation. This was actually my first build, and I suggest anybody who's going to start doing van life, start with a piece of junk first. Buy something cheap, and then you can see how the complete difference of what it looks like when I was done with it. Then I got rid of it, and I went and got a 2001 Astro van, which is really small, very compact. It didn't have a divider wall, so I actually had to build a divider wall. But the good thing about this van is the floor was decent. So all I had to do was just build inside this van. For the most part, it was pretty solid. There was some rust up underneath, and I was sinking screws through because it was my first time, with those types of screws. There was just a lot of stuff I had to learn, like building the divider wall and building the door. And that was the first time I started taking out the passenger seat. Anytime I get a van, I automatically pull out the passenger seat, so it's easy access. So it was my first time building the ceiling and everything else, and the insulation was good. And I was actually stayed in there over winter until the river differential went out, and then that's when I went and bought another van, which was a 2007 Savannah. So this 2007, it had a couple of holes like in the back. After I pulled up the mat, and this is something you guys gotta learn, man. You have to check underneath. You have to check the floor really good when you buy these vans. Found out there was a big hole in it. The guy who owned it before me just so happens that he worked on vehicles, so he welded the whole plate back in there for me so that it was solid. This van ended up being very, very solid underneath. I did a lot of work on it before I laid the floor in and got that all to where I wanted it, with the extra insulation and stuff. And then I got my walls up, which was really difficult because I had to work with those bowed in walls. You know how they have that, the walls are bowed in, which can be a real pain in the ass. So I did get the insulation in on this. I made a complete build out of this. So this is my first actual complete build where I had, cabinets and a bed and all this stuff. And it just looked beautiful in there. And this van was the first one I actually did went with a theme with, which was I wanted this feel like you're in a space, like you're in outer space or something. And everybody loved it in there. I also put a deck on top, which was nice to sit up there and to stargaze at night, or just to sit up there in general. And it was really fun. It was a great van. I loved that van. After that van, I moved on and got the 2002 box truck that was a 10-footer. So this is my first box truck build, which was when I got it and I brought it on my way back, I was like, oh my God, this thing's going to be too small. 10 foot is not enough. And I just didn't think it was going to work out for me. So what I did was I offered a friend who really said she wanted to do box truck life and all this stuff too. So I said, you know what? You can have the truck. I'll help you build it out while I'm looking to buy another one. So I actually gave the girl the truck, and and we built it together. I filmed a lot of her building it because she wanted me to film her building it, but I was there assisting her, and you can see I did like most of the heavy stuff. But this one, we actually had to cut out the cab wall from the hall in the back so you can get in and out, and I built French doors and everything, and you can see the final build in here, which I wasn't thrilled about the color or the way she went with everything, but that was the way she wanted it, which was fine, because it was now her box truck. And then finally I got my box truck, which is a 12-footer, which I love that box truck. I still have it to this day. It has a lot of mechanical issues left and right and stuff, but I still have it. And it's a 2008, it's a 12-footer, and as you can see on the sides of it, it had this big this big old there's big pictures on both sides, and I tried to peel that stuff off. It's hell trying to get that stuff off, that vinyl stuff. So what I did was, because I needed to get that off of the truck, I went and got regular house paint, exterior house paint. I actually used Behr it came not from Lowe's, but from Home Depot, and it worked. Like, I painted, people were like, there's no way you can just paint the truck with house paint. And guess what? I painted it. It takes like 2 coats. I actually filmed the whole thing, so I'm going to share all these builds and stuff. Painted the whole thing up and looks like a regular white truck now. It's been that way for over a year. We survived through the winter and everything else, and that paint job held up. You can see that there was a lot of stuff that I had to do inside this truck, and one of the things I didn't like about it was the ceiling. I didn't realize that having that type of ceiling up top with the where it's not metal and it's that whatever that stuff is up there, you can't cut through that. That's not a good idea to cut through that. So the ceiling ended up just being a dead ceiling. I just had to build on it. The gate, now you can see this one I actually double insulated the gate, double locked the gate down. There's no way anybody's ever gonna get in that gate. There's no purpose for me, in my opinion, to have the gate come open. I like the fact of having that as a solid wall in the back, so that's what I did. Not only did I make it a solid wall, I made it a double solid wall. So you can see I had like extra insulation. I used like the best wood possible in there in the entire build out. I put in a, this is the first time I put in a heater, one of those diesel heaters. I had a great time building this truck. I call it the Medusa. Anytime anybody gets in there, they fall in love with it. Like, they just love that truck, and I love that truck. But I got a toilet in there. I got a running sink. I'm going to show you guys all that stuff. Everything is copper, so I wanted a copper sink. Everything I wanted to have like the snake theme. But the biggest problem with that truck was there was always problems with that truck, and so I had to go and have it towed, and it has like a lot of issues going on right now. So then I went and talked to that girl, and actually she texted me and said, hey, do you know anybody who wants to buy that box truck? And I said, I thought you never was going to get rid of it. She said, well, I changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. And I said, actually, I could use the second truck while my truck's in the shop. So I bought her truck. I bought that truck back, She didn't sell it to me for a whole lot. I think it was like $3,500. She actually said $3,000. I said I'll give her $3,500 because she paid for all the stuff that was already built on the inside. So it was worth it for me in the end. So it's just kind of like I paid for the truck, and then I paid for the materials over inside of it. It was just kind of like on loan to her. You can see where the French doors are built, and you can see the way it looked when she had it. So I'm showing here that this is the way the truck looked. So I quickly, after going through there and looking at it, and so I'm like, oh my God, this color, I can't deal with it. It was what she wanted, it was fine. So I was quickly going to go to work on this truck and start, doing a bunch of changes, because at this point I already have a whole lot of experience on working with trucks. I knew exactly the layout that I wanted and what I wanted to put in there. So I was able to get this done quickly, without spending a lot of money like I did on the Medusa, because I already knew a lot of tricks of the trade and stuff, which is great when you're working your way up. And there were some things that, like I helped her put in these little fans, because I put those in all my vans. They're these little solar fans, which are nice because you don't ever need batteries because they run off of solar. They use them in boats and stuff so that it keeps the moisture out of the boat. The bed frame and stuff. So pretty much what you're seeing in there, I helped her build, but she decided to put things the way she wanted, right? Like, she wanted all the cabinets on the one side, which actually made it kind of made the balance on the van really bad. So I completely gutted everything out and redid it. I actually repainted the outside white again because it was originally yellow. I put solar panels on top of it because she didn't have the solar panels, so I put those up there. I wired them in. I got these real flat ones because, you know, if we're ninja, we're going stealth. We don't want anybody to know that we have solar panels up top. That's a dead giveaway. So you can actually find these flat ones that you can put up there. Nobody knows anything. And you literally can't even tell that there are solar panels on top of the roof. And those flat ones, from what I understand, they work just as good as the other ones. And it actually wasn't that hard. It was fairly easy, and I actually did record it, and I'll share that information with you guys and show you how I did it. And the tape that they use that actually stops water from getting in and really keeps those locked down, which was another plus because this van had some leaks in some places, and I used that tape to plug up the leaks. But you can see, like, I just completely changed this whole thing on the inside. I repainted it. I painted it red. I kept the black that she has on there, the black trim, because it looked good. You know, actually, I think I put that trim in there. Yeah, she didn't have the trim. I put the trim in. I painted the trim black to match the ceiling. I painted the walls red. I put in cabinets. You know, I put this medicine cabinet in there, which is really great over the sink that I have. I put in shore power, which was what I also put in on the other box truck, the Medusa. That was so easy to put in the shore power. So, I mean, like, I was like on this truck, like bang, 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 just getting it done quick. Like, it did not take me long to get this thing nice and comfortable right to where I want it. And the shore power is perfect. You don't know you need it until after you have it. Once you have it, you realize that you can hook up an AC in there if you can connect anywhere to shore power, heater for in the winter. And this truck just turned out, I call it the Dragon Box. The other one's the Medusa, the Dragon Box. I own both of them now. And it just turned out to be a beautiful, nice, relaxing truck. So with all that being said, guys, I do plan on sharing the information and sharing my builds and how I've done them. The Dragon Box is actually my 6th build because I did build out a car too. I had a Chevy Pacifica, which I don't have, a Chrysler Pacifica, which I don't have any pictures or video, any of that. But I did build out a Pacifica and made a car build before I got my van. So, and then I sold that, and somebody loved that, and then I moving on to the vans and stuff. So yeah, I'll share the information. I'll share the way I do all the builds and stuff, and some tips and that might help people, and some of the mechanical issues, because that's also important that we get to know about these mechanical issues. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you're going to enjoy what I got coming next. And if you have any questions or comments, please, leave those below. I'm always more than willing to help and, pass on some of the good information to help others not make the same mistakes, or help people, with some shortcuts. And I am Sean Van Ninja, and we'll catch you guys next time.